What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for a mammoth stream for you guys. We'll be looking back at whatever that was yesterday, and we'll be looking forward to whatever that will be on the weekend as well against Sunderland. But big up to everyone that have come to join us on this fine, cold, icy Friday afternoon, and bit cold like the performance it was yesterday, mate. Like, that was an absolute shit show. We'll get into all the nitty gritties, but first and foremost, how you doing, my bro?
Yeah, look, everything apart from football related, I am good. Like you said, I think the way you started this was perfect. I don't know what that was, and we don't know what this will be. It was just awful yesterday, awful, and I'm not looking forward to talking about this. I'm really not.
Well, thank you for coming in anyway.
Mate, anything for you guys. My loan's been extended. So,
yeah, it has been extended. Sim's gone AWOL over these last couple of days. Probably good for him. But I don't even know where to start, mate. It's just been an absolute shit show following this club this season. We'll get into everything that happened last night. Let's start off with a Tottenham update. As whether you value the source or not, I'm going to bring it to you anyway. As Indicator, obviously is an ITK on X, has been endorsed by David Ornstein at some point as well, and they say that we understand that Spurs owner Aayi Group are making an extraordinary plan to bring back club legend Mauricio Pochettino back in the summer, as they are worried that Thomas Frank might not be the right long-term fit for the club. Look, I have been saying a lot this season that if it don't go right for Thomas Frank from now to the end of the season, this is the kind of obvious move that Spurs were going to do. We know when Aayi first came in, they got the fans on side by sacking George Graham, who was obviously not a fan favourite, Arsenal roots and everything like that, and brought in club legend in Glenn Hoddle. Mm-hmm. This could be seen not as exactly the same, because Thomas Frank is not exactly hated like George Graham was because of the Arsenal roots, but there are fans, I think a lot of fans, that just don't think Thomas Frank is the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur, and bring Mauricio Pochettino back could be seen as a move to bring the fans back on side.
So first of all, Indicator started off by saying we have massive news and exclusive. Based on what they actually released, I've got a few exclusives. Today is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. If you're hungry, eat. If you're thirsty, drink. It's always going to be Pochettino. It's always going to be, this is the man, the saviour. But there's also fans saying he came, he didn't win anything. Obviously he went to Chelsea. Obviously he won something at PSG. I completely get that he will unite a majority of this fan base, and he will play a style of football that we want to see. I get that, but every time a manager's in doubt, this link is going to come up. Mm-hmm. I think they didn't need to release it. I think all Spurs fans realise this is going on in the background and will never go away until it's officially never going to happen, or does happen. So it's not breaking journalism, is it? It's just another conspiracy theory that just keeps going around.
Yeah, I feel like there is unfinished business with Pochettino, whether you think he's right for the job or not. You know, some suggestions say that, you know, football has moved on from his tactics, and can he still do it at the top level? Obviously, he's at USA now, had a very hard start, seems to be getting things together now with Chelsea. He had a very hard start, but second half of the season, I thought he turned it round, and I thought he got sacked unfair, whether he was sacked or walked. I think, you know, he did enough in that second half of the season, I think, to remain in the job. With PSG, there was the season he came in, he didn't win the league, then obviously corrected that the next season with the squad boasting of like Messi and Neymar and everyone, but, you know, that comes with its own issues as well. I am always intrigued to see what a Pochettino reunion would look like, and I don't think that will ever go out of many Spurs fans' mind until we see it. So I would welcome it, to be honest. I would welcome it.
If we look back at, and I'm not just talking Spurs, I'm talking about in general football, apart from Mourinho when he did his second stint at Chelsea, but then that ended very abruptly, has there been a second chapter where it's actually gone very well. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to Pochettino, I always said, if we didn't have Daniel Levy, I would welcome him back, and I stand by that. That I would welcome him back as Spurs manager if he did come at any point. Now, it's whether he would. What will Nick do? But he is certainly someone that will definitely get the fans on board.
I think he would. I think he's gagging to come back to Spurs, to be honest. I think he never makes it a secret of his love for Tottenham Hotspur. You've got someone that comes in straight away, that loves the club, that gets the club, that has been here before, that has been, I would say, successful. He didn't win trophies here, but he was successful in terms of what he achieved in getting Spurs fighting for the very big honours, title challenges, Champions League final, on a shoestring budget as well. The biggest mistake we've ever done under Daniel Levy, in my opinion, is the season where we didn't back him in terms of give him any signings whatsoever, and the painful rebuild which he was crying out for, which we didn't give him as well, with an ageing squad and a depleted squad. So I don't know. I said to you last night, like, about Pochettino, about ever since we've sacked him, all we've done is put band-aids on problems and try to cut corners and not do the painful rebuild in the full extent in which, you know, he was asking for some time. And you know, it'll be so bloody Tottenham, wouldn't it be? Like, you sack Pochettino to be replaced by Pochettino 10 years later. You know what I mean?
There's a running theme with that, isn't it? We replace Bale with Bale. You've also got to look at it. If you go back into the team that Mauricio Pochettino inherited, forget the signings that he brought in, he had some quality, some real quality.
He also had to rebuild it as well.
I agree. I mean, one of the best things I think he did was in that first season when things weren't going right, and he called out Bentaleb and Mason. It was like, right, in you come. And they certainly made an impact, and we looked a lot stronger, and there was a bit of grit and determination. And remember when we were saying about the youth with Odebear saying what he said about playing at home? Well, Mason and Bentaleb came in, and that wasn't an issue, was it? And they had quality around them. So there is that, but I think he had a lot more quality than what Frank or any Spurs manager at the moment would have had. But it's an intriguing one. Will this happen one day? I think it will. Is it going to be after the World Cup? We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. But that is what Indicalia is saying. Let's move on. And a potential incoming transfer. Tom Barkley says that Spurs do hold an interest in Brazilian left-back Souza, who's 19 years of age and plays for Santos with Neymar. Lucas Massetti says that Tottenham have had an official proposal rejected for Santos left-back Souza. The Brazilian club have rejected an approach and replied with a clear demand of 17 million euros for 70% of the 19-year-old's economic rights. A deal is now considered unlikely. So they're holding out for 17 million, or so much for ENIC 2.0, eh? And look, to be honest, I don't know the quality of this guy. I've never heard of him before the report today, but it looks as though Spurs do have an interest in a 19-year-old Brazilian left-back.
Yeah, I mean, that's got the quality and experience written all over it, hasn't it? Again, we're going to see a lot of rumours, aren't we, in January, and this could be another one. But the only thing, was he a left-back, did you say? So it's a key position we need, but it's not the quality and the experience.
Yeah, we don't know, but it could be the quality. We don't know, but it's definitely not the experience.
Let's say the experience. We want experience ready now, and that certainly isn't ready now.
Yeah. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about Brennan Johnson, because this was an interesting update from Ali Gold. First and foremost, Sammy Mokbel says that Brennan Johnson has completed now his move to Crystal Palace and will set to be available for the clash versus Newcastle on Sunday. But this was the message from Ali Gold. He says that the decision to sell Brennan Johnson has not gone down particularly well in the dressing room, in which he was a popular figure. And I'm thinking, like, players come and go the whole time. Popular figures come and go the whole time within squads. Like, why even bring up this kind of message? Like, what? So the players, what? They're going to go on strike because Brennan Johnson's left? It's like, obviously not. So, like, what is the whole point of this?
First of all, like we said, we don't know if it is genuine. If it is genuine, it just goes to show this squad are petulant school children. We've had this before. We saw this with the bad eggs when we were losing managers. They were saying things. This isn't a popularity contest. It's their job. Like you said, players come and go from every team in world football. is part and parcel of football. Doesn't matter what level you're at. And it just goes to show with this football team. Maybe there's some bad eggs in that dressing room again. Maybe there is. I mean, I'm not going to name names, so I couldn't picture. But if this is true, and I'm inclined to slightly believe it, I wouldn't say, oh, it is their job.
But I'm sure, like, Sonny leaving wouldn't have gone down, and we saw in the documentary how it didn't go down particularly well with the players, and some of them hard to come to terms with reality. I mean, they're professional players; they'll pick themselves up and move on. You know, of course, Brennan Johnson has been a key part of the dressing room for a number of years now. Very close friends with inside the dressing room. It makes sense that, you know, some of the players were unhappy to see him sold because they were close friends with him. But this is a dressing room. This happens all the time. This is football. Players, the nature of the game is players move on. Yep. So they're unhappy. So they'll get over it and move on like any other player.
Exactly. We've lost Harry Kane. You don't hear this. It's obvious that you lose a big player, weakens your team. You're going to be annoyed, but you hope the team moves on and buys someone better. But we keep hearing about these things at Tottenham Hotspur. You don't hear it elsewhere, do you?
No.
It's just like this is where it goes on to, again, the culture of this football club.
But also, we don't look into any other club as much as we look into Tottenham Hotspur, so we don't really know.
That's a given, but it's the culture of this football club. It's just a mess.
I don't think it's... for this point alone, I don't even think it's a cultural thing. I think it's just the simple thing of Johnson has a lot of close friends at Tottenham. Johnson's left Tottenham, and the players are unhappy one of their friends have left. Like, they're going to get over it. There's nothing in this for me.
It's just nonsense.
Absolute nonsense. But look, that's what Aayi Gold has said today. Aayi Gold says that the Brennan Johnson sale has not gone down well in the dressing room. And to be honest, look, it hasn't gone down well for me either, unless I know who the replacement's going to be. And until we have a replacement, we're short again in the forward line.
Yeah.
So the sale doesn't make sense until I know who's coming in. That's the reality right now. And we could have done with more firepower last night at Brentford. Probably going to have to do with more firepower, or could do with more firepower this weekend against Sunderland. But we don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you yesterday and today, even if Brennan Johnson did come on the pitch, we wouldn't be able to get the ball to him. We wouldn't get the ball to him. We couldn't create enough, but we had 8 opportunities, 1 on target. Would we have been able to create something for Brennan Johnson? Not a clue.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, that's the Brennan Johnson situation. A done deal from Tottenham Hotspur, as Florian Pettenberg confirmed that Borussia Mönchengladbach have signed centre-back Kota Takai on loan from Tottenham Hotspur until the end of the season. The 21 Japanese international has already joined the team for training camp and will train with the squad for the first time this afternoon. Well, so much for the reports before the season started saying Kota Takai has come to be part of the first team this season. He's been injured for the whole first half of the season, and finally he gets back fit. Finally he takes part of his first match day against, I think it was Crystal Palace, and there you go, he's on loan.
Well, I tell you what, one way I will look at it is happy it's the Bundesliga, because it seems that not just, obviously with Vuskovic, but young players are going to Germany, getting their minutes, and they are hugely benefiting from it. Yeah. So I'm actually quite happy he's gone to the Bundesliga as opposed to another league. So we'll see what he's got. He's going to get minutes, isn't he? So we will finally get to see what he's about and what he's capable of, and wish him all the best in the Bundesliga. Yeah,
absolutely. I'll definitely be keeping a close eye. Hopefully he gets a lot of minutes there to aid his development and come back next year and can fight for that spot in the first team squad. But it's just a joke, isn't it? Like, how many times have we heard with these kind of obscure players that we sign, like they're coming here to compete and then 5 minutes later they're on loan somewhere?
Yep.
It's like non-stop.
I should do my Antonio Conte. This is the Tottenham.
In terms of Jamie Donnelly, we know that he returned back to Tottenham on the 1st of January. Well, Football League World say that he is set to join Oxford on loan for the remainder of the season after being recalled from Stoke City. And that means he'll be set to rejoin with Royal Lancashire at Oxford, who's having a fairly good loan spell, scored again in his last game for Oxford, scoring 6 goals, I think, so far. Look, they're not doing well, Oxford. He's dropping down a bit in the league, opposite ends of the table. But let's hope he gets some minutes now.
Yeah, well, surely he's going to get more minutes than he did at Stoke. And like I said, he's going to have a familiar face there. you'd imagine he will get game time there. And let's just hope he can pick up some form and start showing what the hype about him is. But good that we cut that move short because Stoke was doing him no favours. And we'll see what he's got in Oxford.
It's going to be interesting to see the dynamic there, isn't it? Because obviously Donnelly and Lancashire had such a good relationship on the pitch for the under-21s, both of them getting Players of the Year and massive numbers in terms of goals and assists for both of them. So it'll be really nice to see if they can kind of rekindle that relationship in the Championship.
It will be. I mean, look, we had Vuskovic and Devine, we had Phillips and Donnelly, and now it's Lancashire and Donnelly. We're doing a lot of double acts.
Yeah, and I'm all for it, to be honest. I think it's a good loan spell for him, loan move for him, and to go somewhere with Will Lancashire, you know, because he went with the goalkeeper Keeley to Leyton Orient.
I forgot about that one as well. Double act.
And now he's with another double act in Will Lancashire.
Yeah.
So
it's Tottenham's Arc, it's not Noah's Arc now. We send our players out 2 by 2.
The loans go out in 2 by 2, hurrah.
Hurrah.
And last but not least, Tom Barkley says that Bromley and AFC Wimbledon have shown an interest in loaning Damola Aayi. We know he went to Doncaster, didn't really feature much, did feature against us in the Carabao Cup, and he showed flashes in that game, but yeah, let's hope he can go to one of these clubs and actually get some minutes and show what he can do, because, you know, last season came on in the Europa League, scored that goal, and unfortunately hasn't really gone well for him since.
Yeah, another one that thankfully Spurs have cut these ones short, where it's doing them no good, and trying to get them to get first team football. And if he goes out to one of those teams, let's hope he gets it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is your Tottenham update for today. I'm sure there's going to be a host of news coming your way over the next 24 hours, and obviously we'll bring it to you here first on We Are Tottenham TV. But that is your Tottenham update for now. Now, we are going to move on and talk about a 90-minute period of yesterday that I don't even know what happened in that 90-minute period, because it definitely wasn't a game of football. I tell you that. It was just seemed like 22 men just casually just jogging around, and, you know, no attacking football on display. Just a bunch of nothing on the pitch yesterday. It really was, you know. Brentford, I thought, were poor. Spurs were probably even poorer. At half-time, I was saying to you, you know, this was one of the worst 90 minutes of football I've seen. Probably Spurs, slightly the better team, but not much in it. And you're thinking, it can't get much worse than that in the second half. Oh, it did. Oh, it did.
Yep.
It got a hell of a lot worse in the second half. And Brentford finished the game probably the better of the two sides when you take everything into account. And it's just like, what is this? What is this dross that we're being served up week in, week out now as Tottenham Hotspur fans? Like, the tactics on show, the technical ability on show, there is just nothing to take away from these games and say, we're moving in the right direction. What is there? Please tell me.
Mate, like I said to you before, I'm going to be very, very harsh on Frank today. Very, very harsh on Frank today. I will be with the players as well. But first of all, I need to apologise to someone. I can't remember who put a super chat in yesterday and said that Frank went there to play for not to get beat. And I said, no, I don't think that was. I want to publicly say I'm sorry, because I think he's right. Well, he was right. I don't think he was right. So if you're in the chat now, apologies, because you were right. It looked like 22 guys that have been out on the pitch for New Year's Eve and were just out there, like playing Sunday League, just getting their hangover. They all had hangovers, but obviously they didn't. But it was just like, let's just have a kick about and have some exercise. It was a awful performance. There's just nothing to even try and say, do you know what, that showed me something, or that went right, that went well. It was gutless, spineless, toothless. It was depressing. It was just a shambles from the first minute to the 90th minute. Frank got absolutely everything, and I do mean everything, wrong yesterday. And I'm talking about yesterday only. The players were, apart from, in all honesty, for me, apart from Van der Ven, horrific. Every single one of them. But we can't create, we can't score. We have become a little bit more resolute and hard to beat, but yesterday was something that I find deeply unacceptable. And it was a awful performance.
Yeah. And you know what, like, the away fans, the life and blood and heartbeat of this football club, week in, week out, they're there, home and away, but obviously particularly away, always loud in voice. And yesterday was no different. They were loud in voice there once again. But the product that they're getting served up, we're getting served up every week. It's not like I sit here every week and argue with Sim, and Sim saying it's not good enough, what's there to go on, and I'm saying, you know what, whatever, just give it to the end of the season. I can't see any takeaways to take from it, but just give it to the end of the season, see what can change, see if he can turn it around. But as each week progresses, it's coming more and more evident that nothing seems to be changing at all. And we can all sit here and complain and moan about the quality of personnel and the quality of player that we have at this football club. And correct, we don't have the best quality. 100% we don't have the best quality. But we've got much more than what we're showing right now. Am I supposed to be led to believe that a front line of Richarlison, Kudus, Odegaard are not able to muster up a chance on goal? Come on, man. Like that, the players that we had on the pitch yesterday, yes, we were depleted. Yes, we had that's the only midfield we could have picked, unless you wanted to play Kudus on the inside and stick Tell or Muani on the left and Odegaard on the right. Yeah, fine, it's slim pickings. But with the players that we have at our disposal, we could be doing a lot more with what we're doing. And you're looking at teams like Burnley. You're looking at teams sitting close to the bottom of the league. How are they able to consistently create more than what this Tottenham team are able to create? So I'm sorry, the excuse of the players are not good enough, it doesn't fly, because teams that have lesser quality than us are able to create more than us. So for me, as much as the player quality is poor, it all leads back to the manager, in my opinion. Everything right now. And, you know, we spoke so many times about Thomas Frank and how I massively believed in him, and I was happy that he came to the club and everything like that. But as weeks go by, it's getting harder and harder and harder to stick up and to defend and to be patient and everything like that. And I'm watching Spurs right now, and to be honest, to tell you the truth, it's just like, yeah, right, another poor performance. It's just like, they just go over your head now. It's not even like, don't even get angry about it. Don't even get upset about it. It's just like, oh, well, it is what it is. This is what Spurs are right now. And I think that's the majority of what the away fans are like. You saw the away fans last night, not apathetic during the game. They were just having a good time with it, you know, singing songs for the legends of this football club, creating an atmosphere. And that's what you got to do. And that's what I was saying when I was at Palace. You know, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And the way that these fans support this club through thick and thin is something special. And the fans don't deserve the product that we're getting served up week in, week out. However, we are here. It needs to be getting a lot better, and it needs to be getting a lot better quickly, because I believe the fans and the majority of the fan base, I don't think anyone, the majority of people don't believe that Frank is the long-term answer for this football club.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, there are many people thinking that, and it's getting overwhelming. Like I said yesterday when we were speaking to, was it Matthew, the guy with the Spurs bottle and the pillow yesterday, was his name Matthew? Yeah. Yeah, okay. As I said, I can understand why people are feeling this way. I can completely understand it and completely get it. Yesterday, on reflection, when we got back, and when I got home, I don't know, you know, like when you played Street Fighter or whatever like that and your energy goes down. Yesterday was a huge chunk of my energy zapped from how I've been. We created 8 opportunities yesterday and only 1 on target. That is a player side, not just the manager side, but everything, like I said, that was done yesterday was wrong from start to finish. Like we were saying, and some people were saying in the chat yesterday, just try something different. Put Kudus in the 10. There's some creativity he can operate, because he's looking lost on the right wing at the moment. Whether that's what Frank's doing to him, whether that's what he's doing, or a combination of both. Give him something Put him somewhere where he can create and have an impact. And like we've all been saying, there's always been someone on the pitch at Tottenham Hotspur that you can always say could get you out of trouble. Always. There's always someone that's been on the pitch going back years and years and years. Right now, I can't think of a single one. Not a single player. And like I said, backwards, sideways. I really did. I'm so disappointed in Frank in the way he's going about a game like this. Obviously, there's been a lot of games where the football has been poor, and I've been lenient, and I've backed him, and I'll continue to. But like I said, I've had a huge bit of my energy bar drained with the performance yesterday. And like I said, when the fans do what they did, and you know what, you've got in the headline, is he losing the fans? His style of football, and then after the style of football, to come out and speak to the fans in the manager he is, he's got no right to do it. He's got absolutely no right to do it. Like I said, I'm going to hold in there and stand my ground, but I'm not going to be sun is always shining right now, because it's not shining, and things need to change. He needs to stop worried as much as we had a manager that didn't care about the opposition. Now we've got a manager that cares
only.
I wouldn't say, maybe not only, but way too much than he should do. He changed things up regularly at Brentford. He's not changing it here. I thought the back three that Stell was mentioned yesterday, and I said it, I think it might have been with Simeon. I would love to have seen exactly what Stell said. I said it a few weeks ago, but I thought the fact that Dragushin wasn't fit and Sakai wasn't fit, he doesn't want to do it, because if he gets an injury to Danso, Van der Ven or Romero, or a suspension, we're in trouble. Well, now they are here, and we could see that yesterday wasn't working at all, and he just changed like for like. And that's not how you impact the game, especially when you're bringing the players on. Was it too late? Especially Tell. Moani came on a bit, but they're not even we just can't get the ball. And like I said yesterday, the passing from the professional bunch of footballers was shambolic and horrific. We weren't asking like defence splitting passes. It was simple passes, and they could not do it.
Yeah. They couldn't do it. I mean, the passing on show yesterday was absolutely horrific, but I don't know whether... I'm starting to get the feeling it's just the players lacking confidence in the system that they're playing, because we show no ambition on the football pitch. You know, he talks about in the last press conference Tadarius to do well. I'm not seeing that anywhere close to any football pitch that Tottenham go on to at this moment in time. Stell came on the fan show and, along with other fans yesterday, and called Thomas Frank a coward for the way he set the team up yesterday. And
I agree.
I agree completely. You know, you can't set up a team with no ambition to go forward, particularly against a team like Brentford, where we're supposed to be the dominant side. You know, we won the Europa League last season, and then we're going away to Brentford and essentially playing for a draw, whether they actually played for a draw or not. The tactics were playing for a draw. Vicario's wasting time with half an hour to go at 0-0. It's just like, what is this crap? What is this crap? This is not Tottenham Hotspur.
Yep.
And I'm so checked out with Tottenham right now. Usually, even under Ange, when, you know, I was calling for Ange out and all this kind of stuff, you know, I'd still go home and be heavily invested and be checking everything and you know, non-stop football and Tottenham information that I want to consume. Right now, I go home, I don't give a shit what's being said online. I come in here, I do my content, and I go home and I'm completely checked out. This is what it's become. You know, we're seeing no product on the pitch. We're seeing no ambition from the manager. We're seeing a manager that goes at the Tottenham Hotspur fans, the loyal Tottenham Hotspur fans that turn up week in, week out. He goes, the Tottenham fans that boo, that they can't be loyal Tottenham fans. Well, I'm sorry, you got booed yesterday by the Tottenham Hotspur fans that all have over 417 points. Are they not loyal Tottenham fans then? Are they not loyal Tottenham fans? They waited for Thomas Frank to come to the front to boo, to make a point that it wasn't the players that were getting booed, it was the manager getting booed. And I think it's quite right that he gets booed, because the coward tactics that we deploy week in, week out should be nowhere near what Spurs do. Nowhere near. We need to be on the front. It's not even about front foot. Play effective football.
Yeah.
Play effective. If you're not going to be on the front foot, if you're not going to go and play high pressing and attack football, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But be effective in what you're trying to do. Be effective. Like I said before, there are teams like Burnley that are creating more consistently than us right now. And how is that ever going to wash with any Tottenham Hotspur fan? And he is losing the fans very quickly right now. It's not even toxic in away ends right now. Spurs fans know we're shit. We're just having fun with it. And at the end, we'll make our feelings known. You know? And that's just what it is right now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
There's nothing more there's literally nothing more I can add to that. Nothing.
So,
it's spot on.
So, like, what more can we say? What more can we say? It's rinse and repeat. Yeah, maybe we might get a result here and there. Maybe we'll pull off a draw. Maybe we'll pull off a win. But the reality is the performances ain't getting any better. And in fact, they're probably getting worse because yesterday, in terms of on the ball, in terms of being able to create, even in terms of, look, we defended all right in times yesterday. And I hate this. He's like, Thomas Frank in the press conference being like, oh, yeah, but give us some praise for the way we defended. Like begging for some praise because we kept a clean sheet. We kept 2 clean sheets in a row. Who gives a fuck about keeping clean sheets if you can't create a chance?
Yep, you got that. Like I've said to you before as well, what I'm missing here, and this is Frank, but this is players as well, there's no person there that's saying this is unacceptable on the pitch. You can't see any. You see other teams when things aren't going right, they're getting at their players saying, come on. Obviously, Vicario's shouting at anyone, even if he kicks the ball out, he'll blame someone. But there's no accountability and stand out as like, this is unacceptable football. This is we're wearing this shirt, we're wearing this badge. This is not what we do. Like I've said to you when I've come on this show many a time, these players have a responsibility. When the going gets tough, unfortunately, these players go running or hiding. Like I said, it was taking nothing away from what I've been saying about Frank and how yesterday was cowardly, was just so uninspiring. And for, like you said, for those fans to travel right to West London, it's still on New Year's Day and everything, to be served up that is not on. And to then praise the one thing that was semi-good in keeping a clean sheet, and that's not what we go to football for. I can't remember a game in any footballing world where people go, oh, what a defensive display. That was... Maybe like,
unless you're going to like Man City away or something like that. Not bloody Brentford, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's what I meant. That's what I was trying to get at. He's got to... I think he needs to be spoken to someone at the club about what he's saying in press conferences, especially about the fans. I said to you before we went on, some of the stuff, like he said about the defending, I do kind of agree with him, but not to be celebrated in the manner he said it.
If we win the game, then yeah, fine. Celebrate your defensive performance, but not if you take a 0-0 draw at Brentford and start saying, "Oh, well, what a great defensive display we had. We've kept 2 clean sheets in a row. Something's got to be said for that."
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Agreed.
It's just so stale. It's so stale what we're seeing week in, week out. And the most worrying thing about it, like I keep saying, I can't see any change happening anytime soon. You know? He needs to change something. He needs to go more on the front foot. He needs to give the fans something to cheer about. You know, Spurs fans are paying a lot of money, and they just want to fall asleep in their seat every week.
Yep, I mean, like we said, we've got... January is now where it can change. And I don't mean always all of a sudden wake up and change everything at the club. I mean with personnel.
But the tactics need to change.
Oh,
that's
no,
the
that
point.
is, but hopefully if he brings in better quality of players, they will be able to do something that these players simply aren't.
But why can't he do it with these players? At least go a bit more offensive. It doesn't make sense to me.
That he should be doing.
Like I've been saying, like Burnley are creating more than us. I know they're not. They're also getting shit results and they're rooted in the relegation zone. But how are a team like Burnley and other teams around them, like Leeds, for example? Look at the way Leeds are playing right now. You know, they're going at teams. You're telling me that Leeds have got better quality players than us?
No, but I reckon I would say with some of them they've got a lot more fight and desire. Quality, no. And then you look at it like we were saying in the show we did. Look at the Ellen Road fan base. Look at the crowd. Look at they will roar them on. And this isn't me having a dig at the Spurs fans, but we know we've spoken about the atmosphere at this ground since we moved at it. Has been a major issue for whatever reason you want to say. Has it been split apart with the singing sections? Has it been how much corporate? Has it been this? Has it been that? Has it been all the changing? There's so much to change, so much to change. But I go back to what I was saying. Have Leeds and teams got like that, got better quality than us? No. Do they have players that have got more desire, passion, commitment and fight in them? Maybe.
Well, maybe they would have commitment, fight and passion and desire if they actually believed in what they were doing.
There's that as well.
Because I don't see any player, maybe apart from Mickey van der Ven, that actually feels like they believe in what they're doing right now. I just see players that are lost on the football pitch. That's what I see.
No, yesterday it sums it completely. We got people like Pedro Porro, who's overplayed to hell, but was strong defensively. But his absolute unbelievable assets of being able to pass, delivery, everything like that, was absolutely shot to pieces.
Yeah.
Jed Spence, you could go. Listen, we could go through this. We do it in the player rated. It's a mess.
It's a complete mess.
Yeah.
And, we can sit here and point the finger, but right now the reality is it's nowhere near good enough. There's no sign of it getting better. And we're just going to have to grin and bear it. That's just the reality, because I don't even think Frank is going anywhere anytime soon. So, and even if he was to go somewhere, what's going to be the plan after that? So I think all we can do right now is just pray to any God that you believe in that Frank can turn it around before the end of the season.
If we were to get rid of Frank now, whoever comes in will be exactly where we'll be doing this again come May. But then obviously May, you've got the possibility of, said Pochettino, anyone manager leave from the World Cup. But it's going to happen again. Until Tottenham Hotspur pick a manager and say, right, you are the guy, by hook or by crook, you are the guy, you've got 3, 4, whatever many years, and we are going to...
But what if we do that and he's not the guy? How long do you give it then? If it keeps going the way it's going?
As you said, I'm giving Frank till the summer.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, if we haven't seen change, if we haven't seen quality, and managers become available, and like I've said to you with the players, I've had enough of this now. Sentimentality means sod all to me now. My favourite player, Mickey van der Ven, if Spurs can get an upgrade on him, you upgrade. You can't, right here, right now, I don't
Spurs
think you
ain't getting
no
upgrade on Mickey van der Ven.
What I mean by that is I can have a favourite player, there could be a player that's a very good player for the club, but if you could bring in someone better than that player, you do it, and then you move on, because it's for the benefit of the club.
But what about the reality of Spurs not finishing in a European spot next season, not winning a trophy, and back to the first season of Ange when we had no European football, right?
Yep.
We're trying to time the likes of Mickey van der Ven and our top players down to long contracts right now. How are we supposed to convince these kind of players that we're desperate to stay to stick around if we've got no Europe when the likes of whoever it may be might come calling for them? We're running the risk again of losing top players this summer.
I agree. Completely agree. You look at it the other way, if we sack a manager and then bring in another manager, what confidence do the players have that this manager will be there for the duration of their contract?
Well, if it's the right manager and they, put the tactics that the players can play and actually look threatening on the pitch, then he will be the right manager. But right now, nobody's got any confidence that Frank can do that. Look, I don't think he's going to get sacked anytime soon. I don't even know if it's the right decision to sack him, because there is no other alternative right now. We've spoken about the potential of Pochettino being available in the summer, Nagelsmann being available in the summer. Who's turned us down before, but Conte turned us down and then ended up coming to Tottenham. So Moani turned us down before. He's at the club right now, so it's not exactly a deal breaker. But what this is what it comes down to, is like, what players can we attract right now to even make it better in the short term? And if we end up sacking Frank now or in the summer, apart from Pochettino, who I think would be dying to come back, what kind of manager could we even attract?
Exactly.
So, I mean, the club is such a uninspiring and it's just so rotten that I feel like no top player and no top manager will even want to come here.
Well, this is the only thing I can add to that is, again, we've had years and years and years of saying, if you pay the wages, they'll come. Now it's a case of, will ENIC do it? And yes, the situation of where we're going at the moment is a bit in the air, and we've got no clear identity of what's going on. But we've gone on for ages and ages and ages saying that we won't pay the wages to bring these players in, and then we spent a lot of people saying players go for the wages now. Well, I think players still would come here because of the wages and then the London factor and everything, but it is in the air at the moment with our identity, where we're going, what direction are we trying to go into, and all these questions need to be answered.
But these players that we're going for, we're led to believe will be in the pool of, the clubs that will go for: Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, like all these clubs. They're all way above us in the pecking order, and they can offer exactly the same wages as we can offer. So we're still going to be picking up scraps.
I agree with you on a lot of that, but I also think we need to start moving, kind of like how quickly this Johnson deal got wrapped up. If we Spurs start moving quickly, like we tried to do Morgan Gibbs White, okay, no one was going for it. But if Spurs could do that and pull these off, unlike what we did with Eze, where we were just sitting around waiting, and then Arsenal were just obviously waiting in the wings to come and strike, then could deals get done? Maybe. If you get them done without it being all over the Twitter, all over social media, Sky Sports, whatever. If you get these deals done quickly and efficiently, maybe. But we don't know. We've never been able to do it.
Yeah. Well, look, the reality, I'm just so fed up and tired of watching this week in, week out, and I just don't see an end in sight. That's the problem. So it's got to change. It's got to change quickly, and let's just hope and pray that it does. In terms of the penalty decision yesterday, I said yesterday on the instant match reaction that I'll give my views on it today because, got to see it a few more times, and I think it was a penalty, man. I don't think he gets anywhere close to the ball, and Archie Gray goes down. So I don't know what VAR's looking at, because they did go back to VAR. They had a good old long look at it, didn't they, and didn't give it. So, if we would have got a penalty, what would the Spurs need to do to get a bloody penalty in the Premier League? We just never seem to get any.
Exactly. Like we were saying behind the scenes before we came up, if that foul had been outside the box, it's a free kick. Without even a question, without even any protest from Brentford or anything. It's just madness. I keep saying that. I would get rid of VAR tomorrow if I could. I know everyone goes, it's not the technology, it's the people, and it's right. But it's coming for a clear indication of certain things. It's not getting the things right. Do you remember back in the day, if they said no penalty, that was it. There was no, okay, let's wait and see. Just get on with the game. I really, really, if I had the opportunity, it would be gone tomorrow.
Yeah. But I guess there's a caveat there, because Romero definitely should have got sent off as well.
Yep.
And, the Keith Andrews said in the post-match press conference he should have got sent off in this game. He should have got sent off in the first game as well for that kind of scissor kick challenge. Yep. And he's completely spot on, to be honest. Completely spot on. So Romero, he looked shaky yesterday, Romero, first and foremost. And second of all, he's let this kind of over-aggressive streak come back into his game this season, where it looked like over the last year or so, last couple of years, he was doing well to toe that line, to be aggressive but not overly aggressive. But now, since he's got that captain's armband, it seems as though he's kind of reverted back, picking up yellows every game, stupid challenges, and back to that kind of red mist Romero. And it's a bit worrying.
Could it be that he's now the captain and he wants to lead by example, and he's going a little bit...
But he was leading by example better before than he is now.
I'm not disagree with you, but I'm saying with that captain's armband now, is he saying, right, this is how I run it and this is what I do? Who knows? But that ruthless streak has come back, and it's causing issues, isn't it?
Definitely. It's just so hard to watch, people. So hard to watch this football club right now. But we pray and hope for better days. The thing that gets me the most is the way that Frank goes at the fans. You can't go at the fans and get away with it and expect to get them on side.
No.
But
the math ain't mathing, is it?
But the reality is what he said today. The fans will be on side if there's a successful football club, and he's right about that. If Frank can turn it around and start winning games on merit, then the fans will come on side. But the problem is, no fan can actually see that happening right now.
Yep. And then you look at it, the game coming up. If it's not a quick start or a change of tactic, that ground's going to get very toxic very, very quickly. And then it's all going to come on top of us.
Yeah. And if it does get toxic very quickly, we know that when that happened, when Levy was in charge, he would have pushed a button pretty quickly. And I'm convinced that if Levy was still here, Frank would be gone by now. I don't think he would be in a job.
I think he would be in the last chance saloon.
I don't think he'll be here. We saw how quickly he got rid of Nuno. You can see the fan disgruntlement right now.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think Frank would be here. I think it's a new start with Tottenham, new hierarchy. They're trying to give it time, and they're trying to back up their decision to bring in Thomas Frank with Vinay and Johan Lang. And obviously Johan Lang and Thomas Frank have history together, and they're close and everything like that. So I think they're trying to give it every opportunity to work. And look, I'm not saying it's a bad decision to do that, but if you make a decision, probably best to stick by your guns. But if it keeps getting toxic, and the more toxic it gets, the more chance it is of Thomas Frank getting sacked. And if we do go and lose to Sunderland, and I think if we have a poor January with these winnable games that we have now, I don't know if there is a point keeping him past January.
Could be big trouble.
So we'll see what happens there. But that is your match review. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, as we are going to move on to player ratings. So let me just get your ratings up while we start. So we're going to start off with Guillermo Vicario. Brian gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. The reality is, the reality is he didn't really have that much to do, Vicario, in the game. He made one good save from Janelt, which was pretty much straight at him. He looked a bag of nerves on the ball, kicking the ball out a couple of times. But, apart from that, it was a pretty quiet day for him, to be honest. Yeah,
then I added obviously, he looked very shaky when you mentioned about the corner with that disallowed goal. That save was right at him. Distribution, again, was tragic. And not a lot to do. I mean, how can you... The only thing he really had to do was a save that was right in front of him.
Yeah. Well, you guys out there are a bit more positive. Well... actually, it weren't, because I gave him a 6, you gave him a 5, so it was pretty much bang in the middle of me and you.
Okay.
As the fan vote gets 5.6 for Vicario. Let's move on to Pedro Porro. Both of us give him a 4, and I thought Pedro Porro, we all talk about Pedro being unbelievable on the ball. He's anything but that right now. He's shocking on the ball, Pedro Porro, right now, and this has been happening for weeks. This ain't something new. Defensively, I thought he did really well yesterday. Not much came down his side, but on the ball, there was one moment he was in like the 10 position. All he has to do is slot through Richarlison. Couldn't do it.
Yep. Even with some of his long passing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where we retrieved the ball back, even at the end of the game, and rather than just Pedro taking his time, putting his foot on the ball, having a look at what's about, and then he was just lashing the pass. It was like just get it away and out of danger. Really, really poor passing performance and from him. Defensively, he was sound, but we needed his passing and vision yesterday, and it was not with us.
No, not at all. The fan vote, give him 4.9, so a bit more positive than us two.
No. Oh, yeah, we gave him a 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kuti Romero up next. 5s all round for Kuti. He gets a 5 from us, 5.6 from the fan vote, so a bit more positive again than us here in the studio. But I thought he was a bit erratic at times, Christian Romero. I felt like it took him a bit of time to get into the game. And I thought in the latter stages, he actually grew into it a bit more, but he should have been sent off. Last man, mistimed his challenge and completely takes out the man. So he was lucky to stay on the pitch. And I thought he was just a yard off the pace yesterday.
He was. And then I think he played in the first half a couple of balls through the lines where he actually just tried to get us moving. But then he was just absent. And the only time you saw him was when it was danger, like the challenge he should have been sent off for. A real low performance from him.
Yeah. Next up is Big Mickey van de Ven, 7s all round. Probably the only one that kept up his standards on the day for Spurs. I thought in the first half particularly, he was fantastic. It felt like everything. He was like a magnet to him, wasn't it? And any time it looked like Brentford were getting in any sort of advancing positions, he was there to snuff out the danger. There was one like overhead clearance in the box, reminiscent of Bilbao that we saw. If it wasn't for Mickey yesterday, I dread to think what the score was going to be.
Yeah, like I said, first half he was simply everywhere, wasn't he? Any danger, he was there sniffing it out. A little bit quieter in the second half, but by a country mile our best player on the night, and the only player that actually looked like he was committed to the cause.
Mm-hmm. And the fans give me exactly the same as us, 7 for Mickey van de Ven. Next up is Jed Spence, 5s all round for Jed, and I mean, a bit similar to Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, where defensively I thought he was sound. He was trying to work his way down that left-hand side with little quality, really. I don't think he impacted much going forward. So, yeah, a bit hot and cold from Jed. Good defensively, but very poor offensively.
Yeah, it was like huffing and puffing, but not blowing the house down. He's got so much energy to burn, but he's going absolutely nowhere with it. It's all well and good running up and down the pitch and doing that, but he was offering very little, wasn't he?
Yeah. Who do we have next? Rodrigo Bentancur, 5s all round for Bentancur. I thought he put in a real big defensive shift yesterday, and he seemed like the deeper of the 3 in midfield. And actually, in the beginning of the game, I was singing his praises, where he was getting in tight positions, able to wriggle it out, nice little turns out of trouble as well. But he just, again, nothing to drive the team forward. No real quality in his forward pass. And after the first 20 minutes, half an hour, I thought he vanished out the game, really.
Yeah. Again, what we were speaking about, again, he was his anticipation and reading the game in the first half was good. Like I said, a few touches in the first half, trying to link up with Odobert. But then second half, just non-existent. But let's face it, every single player was non-existent in the second half.
Yeah. After Rodrigo Bentancur, we are going to look at Archie Gray. Brian gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Funnily enough, Archie looked more of a goal threat than any of our forward players. You know, he had that one shot that was blocked that looked like could have been curling into the back of the net. And with Archie, look, he started in the 10. It's not his position. I felt for him a little bit, but he was struggling to get himself involved in the game, really. That's the reality.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming again. He's been asked to play in positions that's not suited to him because of what's available or the resistance of Frank to try something new. And he started off brightly and he tried that curling effort, didn't he? But then again, just went non-existent. I think he's going to be a very good player for us. I think he's done very well in the stint that he's had. But yesterday was not a great day for Archie Gray.
And the fans give him a 4.6, so bang in the middle of me and you once again. João Palhinha up next. Brian gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. Does what it says on the tin. You know, really good challenges in the middle of the park. But then on the ball, he's passing the ball out of play. And that one ball where he kind of tried to spread it to Kudus and it just goes out of play. It's just like, that is João Palhinha in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he won the ball back so well and then just passes the ball out of play.
Exactly. There's nothing to say. It's like, you know what he is going to do. You know what he delivers. In the tackles, he was getting the job done. But then as soon as he got the ball at his feet, there's just nothing he offered, was there? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Mohamed Kudus, by the way, João Palhinha gets a 4.8 from the fans. So again, close to being bang in the middle. Mohamed Kudus, he gets 3s all round from us. Really poor display when you're asking someone to really take the game to the opposition. He just wasn't able to do that. I felt for him a little bit because he always had 2 or 3 men on him and was crowded out pretty much every time he had the ball. No real... But the difference is in this game, he actually had options to pass it to, and his passes were just wayward, or he just took too long on the ball and didn't get his pass off in the first place. So, unfortunately, he had little, next to no impact in the game yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. And this is the thing. He does have men around him because they know he was the only creative spark, but he is holding on to the ball too long. He is running into problems, and he is just very, very. He's lost that yard or two of speed of thought of just getting the ball away early, and it's not helping him or the team. And he was very, very ineffective yesterday. He started brightly in the second half, didn't he? He tried that volley. Whereas Odegaard started...
It was like a 5-minute flash, wasn't it?
Literally. Or a flirt. Didn't get as far as a flash. We all know the quality this man does have and what he can do, but he is running into danger. I think he's trying to overdo stuff, and he needs help. Simmons will be back after the Sunderland game, which will hopefully be a massive help for us. But yeah, not a good day at the office for Mohamed Kudus.
Wilson Odegaard got his big chance on the left-hand side from a starting point this time. Unfortunately, 3s all round for Wilson Odegaard as well. We were actually praising him in the early stages of the game. You know, he was showing some nice touches, some nice movement, but unfortunately he wasn't able to really hurt the opposition. And soon after that, we pretty much didn't see him for the rest of the game. Got taken off for Matisse Tell as well. And look, Odegaard, as much as he had a really good cameo against Crystal Palace, it was nothing short of the same in this game because he just couldn't hurt Brentford in any capacity.
No, and Gerald, I said what it was, he had that lovely touch and went on a run. He got into the box and then his touch is too heavy. It's like he does everything to a good standard to get into the position, and then when he gets into the position, he fouls at it. So what looked like a bright start, it basically, him and Kudus reversed, didn't they? Odegaard started off the brighter in the first half, and then was non-existent in the second half, and Kudus was non-existent in the first half, and did a little bit better in the second half, but the front line was just tragic yesterday.
Yeah, and when we say better, they showed a few flashes, but actually didn't hurt the opposition in any shape or form. And last but not least is Richarlison. 3s all round after a really positive display at Selhurst Park. This one, he was a bit anonymous, and I felt like with Richarlison, again, I felt for him a little bit because he was completely isolated up front. Our game plan was basically for every player to whack the ball up to him, and he had 2 big fuck-off centre-backs on him, and he rarely won the ball. And I think he had six touches in the opposition penalty area. That just shows you how isolated he was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, also we kept trying to hoof it up to him to get him to control it and hold it up, and he couldn't do it. Nothing would stick. And then the most frustrating thing was right at the end with that cross. That cross right at the depth.
Oh yeah, man.
Was just.
Hell.
He should be. He really didn't have anyone around him. He should have been able to put in a better ball late in the game, and it could have been the absolute smash and grab, and it just went straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
Yep.
To just sum up our passing from yesterday.
That was the moment, isn't it? If we were going to snatch and grab that game, that was the moment. You got Matisse Tell marauding down the left in space, and Richarlison had all the time and space to put in a cross, and he just puts it straight into Kelleher's arms. So frustrating. All right, substitutes, Muani, 4s all round for Randall Kolo Muani, and I just felt he came on and just didn't impact anything. There was one run that he tried to go on, ended up losing the ball. I don't really remember him doing anything else on the day.
Yeah, he did absolutely nothing, but the only reason I give him a 4 is obviously I always start players on the 5, and he came on, had absolutely no impact whatsoever, but I couldn't give him lower than 4 because of the time he was on the pitch.
Yeah. Fans give him a 4.5, so more positive than us. And Matisse Tell, he came on, 4s all round for Matisse. And I remember saying to you on the watch along yesterday, being like, is Matisse even on the pitch? I don't remember him having too many touches when he was on. He could have made himself a hero on the day if Richarlison would have found him at the back post. But unfortunately he didn't. And Matisse, again, as like Muani, had little to next to no impact.
Yeah, I mean, how do you want him to have an impact when you bring him on at that sort of time? I wasn't actually even going to give him a mark, because what I do when I do these with you is I go on to Aayi Gold and see what subs he marks, as in they've had enough time to be given a ranking, and he put him as an NA. So that's what I did. But like you said, as you said, was he on the pitch? You were asking after a certain amount of time, and that was the problem yesterday. We just couldn't even get, even to the substitutes, we couldn't get the ball to the substitutes. It was fresh, ready to go, not tired, ready to be able to make an impact, and we couldn't even get the ball to them.
Yeah. Yep. And last but not least, Thomas Frank, he gets a 2s all round from us. I thought he managed this game horrifically, to be honest. You could see at half-time we needed something extra, failed to make the change. With the starting lineup, I have a bit of sympathy because of the lack of options, particularly in the centre of the park. But even with those options, you've got to show a bit of ambition on the pitch. The tactics are absolutely shocking and non-existent. And, you know, in previous games, I've praised the in-game management in terms of the subs to change the game. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that in this game. You know, what does Matisse Tell need to do to get more than 10 minutes on a football pitch? Like, seriously, it was clear to see that we were crying out for more attacking output. And I don't know, it just looks like the players are devoid of all confidence and look a bit lost on the football pitch. And that all comes down to the manager.
Yeah. I would just, like I said, if he had a checklist to say, did we do this, did we do that, it's a failure on every single facet, apart from obviously the defence and keeping the clean sheet, but that's not the biggest spectacle or the greatest thing to take away from the game. The problem I have with it as well is just in the second half, after that really poor first half, to not try something. You have the personnel there to, like we said, put Kudus in the middle, put Odebear or Teller or Mawani on the wing, and maybe even put Mawani up front because Richarlison was struggling and lacking. But there was just a reluctance to do any of it, and it really was a awful day yesterday for Frank, and he's only got himself to blame.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are player ratings for the 0-0 draw at Brentford yesterday. We are going to move on and see how the internet did react to the game yesterday.
This will be fun.
I'm not sure if it will be fun, to be honest. Luca THFC says, I apologise to Burnley FC. We play like Stevenage. And that was in response to a tweet that he put and says, he actually made us play like Burnley. This is unreal. And actually, Burnley create more than us right now, which is crazy. It's nuts. Harry Scarf says that Thomas Frank has to be careful because if you lose the hardcore Spurs away fans, then it's over for you. Brentford are a good side, but we showed them far too much respect. Sitting back is fine away from home, but if you plan to counter-attack, however, we didn't even try and win the game. Yeah. And that's spot on, isn't it?
It is. And like I said yesterday, I disagreed and I didn't think that was the case. But going home, reviewing it, looking at it, I was wrong. And people like Harry that were saying it is completely spot on right. He's nailed it.
How can a Spurs goalkeeper at 0-0 with half an hour to go against the Brentford side be booked for time wasting? How is that even possible?
Only at Tottenham.
Ridiculous.
Only at Tottenham.
Tetrunk says, genuinely think this is one of the worst top flight football matches I've ever watched. And you know what? It really was.
Like, it's up there.
In terms of quality, in terms of goal mouth action, in terms of a spectacle, I can't remember a worse game than that.
I'm with you.
And it will be forgotten very soon.
I was trying to think, going back in the days, of a game that was so boring, and that is right up there in my top 3 of most boring games I've ever watched in my entire life.
Mourinho says, hey Croc, please remove the terrorist. Oh God!
I'm sorry, but that one, fair play, is absolutely hysterical.
Oh my
That
days!
is hysterical.
Jesus Christ! Oh man, poor Thomas. Poor Thomas, but he's made his own bed.
Yep.
SZY Comp says Frank Ball has our fans chanting about Eric Dyer. Who would have thought you'd see the day?
Well, I mean, when you said Spurs thinking about legends, and then you think Eric Dyer was like, I think that might have been pushing it a bit. But when you see it written there like that it's true.
Loopy Rizzler says this is what Madders posted on his Instagram yesterday. Picture of him and Ange with the Europa League trophy. What do you make out of that?
Matters being matters. Matters being matters.
Do you think that's an indictment of where he sees the manager right now?
I've got no clue. And again, you look at it, should players be doing that?
Well,
Posted a lot of photos.
yeah, it was a reel of photos of his highlights of 2025.
Well, it's New Year's Day, so that makes...
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, I've just realised yesterday was New Year's Day. So.
But he did choose that particular picture with him and Ange. He could have picked any picture from the Europa League thing.
Surprised he's not one of the ones crying about Johnson.
He probably is.
Yeah, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. See if there's a picture of him and Johnson.
Yeah, probably is, to be fair. But that's what Matt has posted on his Instagram. Flav says, I can't watch another performance like that. Utter wank. And I think Flav just says it how we're all thinking, to be honest.
Agreed.
Mitch Fretton says, when your own away fans, the diehard contingent, are singing boring, boring Tottenham, you have to take the hint. It's just rubbish, Thomas.
Yeah.
And I've never been in an away end when that's been sung before. And we've seen some boring managers over, Conte got the criticism saying it was too boring. Jose got the criticism, it was saying it was too boring. Nuno definitely got the criticism saying it was too boring. But that chant has never been sung.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the let's pretend we scored a goal ones, haven't we? Which is probably the closest thing to that. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like others said, the away support, if they're acting like that, then Thomas Frank, you need to take note. You should be taking note of the home fans as well before you're going out and calling them out. But when the away fans are doing this, you need to take a step back and realise that that is not a good sign at all, and you need to do something and change something.
Yeah. Simon Yamene says, what's the only thing worse than watching Frank's team play football? Watching two Frank teams play football against each other. And that's what it felt like yesterday, to be honest.
It's true, like I said, I will say, and I will stick by, I do think with best players, if we have a Madison Lakulu available, if we get the players in that is required, we will play better football. We will do. But for yesterday, he's absolutely spot on.
Yeah. Will 1889 was in the away end yesterday, and he atted Brentford. He says, "Hi Brentford, can you please stick the darts on the screen at 8:30, please? Channel 407. Cheers."
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
I bet you they would have loved a bit of darts in the away end yesterday.
Could you imagine how the away fan? They wouldn't have watched the game. They literally would have just been going. Could you imagine?
They should have just give them a bit of something to enjoy. you know what I mean?
Put it on the jumper. Oh no, there is no darts on Saturday, is there? Sunday. I was about to say, could you imagine they put it on the big screen?
They should. Give us something to watch. Seb Martin saying, nah, the away and just running through chants from Pochettino days is killing me. They are so bored.
Yep.
That's what it comes to, man. Just Spurs fans just so bored right now. So bored. Imagine spending all that money just to be bored.
Well, you say all that money, thank God it was just across London.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of money, and obviously at this time money is it's not everything is so expensive, but if that had been like Newcastle or Manchester or whatever, then obviously it would have been a lot worse.
So this was on Daily Hotspur. Spurs fans in the away end via Chris Cowlin saying, we want our money back, they were singing. They should get their money.
Well, it didn't give it back. What did you get? You got your loyalty points back after the 6-1. I mean, if Spurs wanted to make a gesture and say, right, do you know what? Then this game was certainly qualified, wouldn't it?
Tapin Tobes says, some of our fans are actually wild. They booed Frank as he came to clap the crowd. That's so harsh and something I don't advocate at all personally, but I equally get the frustration from fans watching that off the back of his divisive comments at the fans. On the back of Frank's comments to the fans and on the back of what we're seeing on the pitch, did Frank deserve to get booed yesterday?
You put me on the spot here, aren't you? His comments, he's not learning that you can't say this. And I'm not just saying that you can't say this at any football club. You can't keep going at the fans. Look, we all went mad at Ange when he was doing it, and Ange had been here 18 months when he done it. And there was the one at the end of the first season with the Manchester United, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, the Arsenal, Manchester City. But Frank is still hasn't gained any credit in the bank to say, right, I could say something and do something. But the booing of him, I'll never go against the away fans. Like Tapping Tobe said, do we condone like the way they did it? I don't, but you can't keep poking the bear and not expect the bear to bite back when it's pissed off. And yesterday was a culmination, and they did bite back, and he's brought it on himself.
Charlie Parrish says, I feel like Vicario getting booked for time wasting on the 68th minute while drawing 0-0 away at Brentford might be one of the most defining images of the Thomas Frank era. Let's hope not, eh? Let's hope not, but right now it seems to be. Jayco says, don't worry lads, he'll be calling you fake fans after spending your New Year's Day watching that tripe. And this is off the back of a video of Thomas Frank being booed. And if you play it, you can clearly see no boos there when the players come on. Thomas Frank comes to the front, and then the boos get very, very loud. And then he just runs off very quickly. You know, he actually said in his press conference yesterday on the back of the boos that the boos were warranted because of the way the team played. So there you go. And you can see him absolutely pelting it down. But Spursologist says, pitch side reports confirm Frank was heard shouting, stop passing it fucking forwards to several of the Tottenham team tonight.
Fair play. Fair play. Fair play.
And these are some of the stats behind Tottenham under Thomas Frank so far this season from Invert the Wings. So this is the XG stats. We're currently 17th in the league, just above Burnley, not by much, just above Wolves, not by much, and above Sunderland, who are sitting bottom of the league, as you can see there. The shots on target per match, we're currently sitting 16th, just above Burnley, just above Sunderland, just above Everton, and above Wolves. Touches in the opposition box, we're currently sitting 16th, which is above Burnley, West Ham, Sunderland and Wolves. So in terms of the numbers, we're pretty much bang down there with the guys right at the bottom of the league. It's very similar numbers. And that is extremely worrying.
It is. It is. But then again, whereas it is, like I said, the midfield can't get it to the forwards to create. The forwards aren't creating. And the striker, I mean, Richardson's getting amongst the goals, but how many times are we going to go round and round with this and say, but the previous managers had Son and Kane, the previous managers had this. We don't have that, and that is a massive, massive problem. But with what we do have, they should be doing better than what's happening.
Put it this way, Brian. Last season, in the midst of our biggest injury crisis we've ever seen, 13, 14 first-team players out, we were creating more.
We were creating more because we were playing attacking football. But even manager.
No, but even in that, we had an attacking manager. But even in that period, there were a lot of games where we were forced to sit further back than we were when we had those players. So I don't even think we were playing like that kind of gung ho attacking football a lot of the time. Some games we were, but in a lot of games we weren't.
And last season we couldn't defend, and the defensive stats would have been like.
The defensive stats are shit now as well.
Yeah.
Ron Hotspur says Romero when he spots a Brazilian on the pitch. He clatters Igor Thiago, clattered Bruno Guimaraes a few weeks ago. The man has no chill whatsoever.
It's Red Mr. Boy, isn't it?
Yeah. Poseidon Spurs Jono says that. So he goes across Gray's body, totally misses the ball and trips Gray over, and it's not a penalty? What? Yeah. It's true, man. Right? That should have been given a penalty.
I mean, this all stems back as well when you look at the Benton Core one at Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's like that was a... How do you give that?
It's like they're told, don't give penalties to Spurs. It's not allowed.
Who knows?
Billy T says... Anyone want a season ticket for the rest of the season? £500. Send me your bank details. I'll pay it for you. I swear, that guy is the king of Twitter.
Oh, he is.
He comes out with some bangers.
He is. The way he's a top lad, is Billy. The way that his brain works is incredible.
Yeah. This is what Luca Williams-Barnett posted when the team sheet came out yesterday. So it's just him on the pitch with that emoji. And I kind of do feel his pain a little bit because obviously he was in the squad when we played Doncaster. He has made a few matchday squads apart from that. Came on and I thought he was quite decent in that Doncaster game. We had 2 goalkeepers on the bench yesterday. Why couldn't he have been on the bench?
Like I said, it seems to be a Spurs thing to have 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We've just abandoned youth, haven't we?
Yeah.
And not just Frank. We've just literally, it's been. We look at what this game-changing training academy was going to do, and what it was going to bring to the club. And if we weren't going to be bleeding them through, we were going to be selling them for profit like Chelsea and Man City and others do. Well, we're doing none.
Yeah.
We're doing absolutely nothing with it. What's it brought? It's brought us Harry Kane, obviously, most famously. Ollie Skip and Harry Winks.
Nabil Bentaleb, Ryan Mason.
And they were gone as soon as... You know what I mean? There's not been... And this, how long's that been there now? 6, 7, 8, 9 years probably that we've been focusing on this. And
Japhet Tanganga.
So yeah, but this is it. And I remember when we brought Nick Barmby through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Spurs saw Nick Barmby coming through, we've tried it with Mikey Moore. Obviously, Mikey's got to get experience. We did used to bleed youth thin. This wasn't just this is what we're doing to be sustainable. If they were good enough and tearing it up, you were getting a chance in the first team. And they're not even getting that.
Yeah. He is particularly young, though.
Oh, he's exceedingly young. And the boy's got a big future. He has got a very, very big future. But Spurs, I think, have got to look at it now and start looking at... Forget about trying to attract these players we're talking about in the January window. Are these big youth players that we see to have really big futures, or look and they're being pumped up to have it, are they going to sit around and see that I don't get an opportunity at Tottenham? This has been going on for years. I want out.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Williams Barnett putting out a post like that because he is super young. I get it. Like, yeah, put him in the matchday squad, give him that experience, even if you're not planning to bring him on because you've got 2 goalkeepers. Like, what's the difference anyway? But, like, surely he should know, like, he's like a very young player. He doesn't need to be putting posts on like that.
No.
It's not really a great look.
And they all have the what's it called, the social media training and whatever in the youth academy to get them ready. Not a wise move, but it's something he'll learn from. Hopefully won't do again.
Yeah. THFC_RR says, it's a quote from Ange that says, at some point in time, I'll get replaced by John the Pragmatist and you can all be happy and revel in it.
Now I understand why I got so many tweets saying John the Pragmatist.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Oh, God. He's right, though. He's absolutely right. That's the bad thing about it. Absolutely spot on. Next one is Tottenham fans singing "Boring, Boring Tottenham." This was the chant in the away end. I actually think it was a chant by the Brentford fans, and then Tottenham just said, you know what, we'll run with it too. João Palhinha, with comments after the game, he says, I think it's a fair result. It's not an easy to play against a good team in an away game. I think it's been our 2nd clean sheet in a row, which is not easy in the Premier League. We need to have credit for that. Offensively, we need to add much more than we have been doing. Again, he's taken that line from Frank. You know, give us that praise. Give us that praise for 2 clean sheets in a row.
Yep.
What else have we got? Keith Andrews on Christian Romero, and he says it should have been a red card, and he should have had a red card in the first game 26 days ago for that scissor kick tackle as well, which is, I think that's absolutely spot on, to be honest. Sam Cornish was replying to Ali Gold saying that it seemed like Thomas Frank got booed by the travelling fans when he went over to applaud them, and Sam Cornish says, but only by the most disloyal fans, Ali. Oh, God. Yeah, Frank really does not help himself, man.
No.
Ongar Spurs says, historically, I've blamed Levy, I've blamed Enoch, I've blamed the players. I've always been okay with the managers. This is fully on Frank. As a season ticket holder for nearly 30 years, this is the worst football I've ever witnessed. Get him out our club, Spurs official. And I think this is a growing sentiment, man. I really think it is. And when you've got the away fans booing you, it needs to change quickly, or otherwise it's only going to go one way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ali Gold saying the travelling Spurs fans are singing boring, boring Tottenham. They've wheeled out chants, loads of nostalgic figures, including Dele Alli, Martin Yol, Ledley King, Moussa Dembele, Eric Dyer. Sounds like an away end I would have enjoyed being in yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah.
Next one is that video of the boos from the away end. Then BLTHFC says Spurs in the Premier League first halves this season, we're currently ranked bottom for shots on target and shots in general, and we're in January. That's mental, isn't it?
It is. It is, but again, whereas Frank takes a massive slice of the pie for that one, again, lack of quality. But Frank, in the way it's been set up, has to take a major slice of the blame for that.
Yeah. All right, well, that is the way the internet did react to the game yesterday. Not an enjoyable one, I'll tell you that, but that is just the way fans are feeling right now, and can't blame anyone, to be honest.
No. And now we can delete that from our memories.
Yeah, until we get
Have to
served up
do it on
another one
Sunday.
on weekend. So that's that. And also, there has been some breaking news in the last 20 minutes as Brennan Johnson has been announced by Crystal Palace and by Tottenham. So Tottenham have tweeted out saying, we've reached an agreement with Crystal Palace for the transfer of Brennan Johnson, the 24-year-old Wales international. His name will be forever etched in our history as the winning goal scorer in last season's Europa League final. His close-range effort proving to be the only goal in the game as we defeated Manchester United in Bilbao. We thank Brennan for his contribution and wish him well for the future. And they've brought up a nice little graphic as well saying, thank you, Brennan, from Tottenham Hotspur. So that's very nice. And they've given us a little, what's this? Just the Europa League goal they've given us as well. So if you just scroll down and show us that nice little graphic, there you go. Thank you, Brennan Johnson. And look, his name was being chanted in the away end yesterday as well, very loudly. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame that he had to go so soon. I think it is a change in the way that Tottenham are conducting their business, but we'll only see if it's a real change in terms of who we bring in. But he leaves as a hero. He leaves with his head held high. He leaves as a Europa League winner for Tottenham Hotspur, and he's up there with Spurs legends, part of a very small group that have scored winning goals in European finals for us.
Exactly. Well, just saying finals for us.
Yeah. Just in
European.
finals in general. So look, we thank him. He's always welcome back. Always going to be a Tottenham man. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because I think he's got qualities that we don't have in the squad in terms of being able to put the ball in the back of the net. And yes, he was quite a limited player in terms of everything else, but something needs to be said about putting the ball in the back of the net. And let's see how Crystal Palace announced him. And there you go. This is their video for him.
New colours. South London. New challenges. New colours. New challenges. From north to South London.
It's quite emotional, that. Welling up here a little bit. And there you go. Brennan Johnson, probably going to make his debut this weekend against Newcastle. He's guaranteed to score against us. He's actually got an eagle tattooed to him. He's also got the Europa League logo tattooed on his leg as well. But yeah, he's definitely scoring against us, isn't he?
We'll see. We'll see.
You know it, man. You know the way it works. So he goes as our 5th ever highest sell.
5th.
Yeah. Think about it. Bale,
Kane.
Berbatov.
Wait a minute, is it Kane then Berbatov?
No. Where is it? I just had it up. So it's Kane. No, it's Bale, then Kane and Walker,
Okay, there you go.
And then Brennan. How much was Berbatov?
30 or around 30.
Well, so this is more than Berbatov then. He's our fourth biggest ever sale.
Mm-hmm.
Which is mad.
Yeah.
Mad when you think about it. But yeah, Brennan Johnson is gone. I think there's...
Oh yeah, what about Modric? So just put in the comments.
Modric was around the same, I think.
No,
I think
it
a
was
tiny...
more, I think it's more than 33 million.
I don't think it was.
Oh, because of our special relationship.
Because
sure
we
was.
took less money because we made him stay that extra year. Do you not remember?
Yeah, that was I'm going to have to check it out now.
Modric went for like 35 million euros, which is around the similar amount, no?
If it does, we had our pants pulled down, didn't we? How much?
Archie Gray has taken to social media as well, and he says, "Gonna miss you, brother. Grateful for everything you've done for me. Looked after me since day one. What a player and an even better guy." So that was Archie Gray, and I suspect like the players are going to come out in droves now talking about Brennan Johnson and thanking him.
37 million euros.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We took less money. We had a big offer from Chelsea the year
Jesus.
before.
My good God. Special relationship.
Special relationship, eh? All right. Well, that is it. Brennan Johnson is officially a Crystal Palace player, and that is the end of that chapter. And we move on, and we're going to focus on the Tottenham-Sunderland game, as you know.
This is what we've got to do.
And that is what we have to do. But we're going to go into a predicted lineup first and foremost. Let's talk about the injury news. What we got, Daigle?
So, James Maddison injured, Kulusevski injured, Dominic Solanke injured but back on the grass until he has an allergic reaction. Yves Bissouma is at the AFCON. Destiny Adoji is injured. Pape Matar is at the AFCON. And Lucas Bergvall is at the moment casted as a doubt for Sunday's match against Sunderland.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to sort out, there we go, manual lineups. Let's go. So, all right. So we're going to go for a 4-3-3 formation as
We're
per...
going 1-9-1.
We're going to go essentially a 4-3-3 formation as per usual. And in goal, we know it's going to be Guillermo Vicario, because it ain't going to be Kinski, is it? So Vicario, we know for sure, is going to be playing. I think the back four pretty much picks itself, doesn't it?
Yep. Well, it depends. Have they mentioned anything about Romero potentially being...
No, nothing.
So, yeah, that should be the back four.
I think Romero's going to be completely fine for this game. So we'll go Pedro Porro right back, Cuti Romero at right centre-back. Where's Cuti Romero? There, Cuti Romero right centre-back. Mickey van der Ven left centre-back. And Jed Spence. Where's Jed Spence? There we go, Jed Spence at left back. So as you were in the back line, Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Jed Spence left back, Romero and Mickey van der Ven at centre back. So Bergvall is a doubt for the game, obviously, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Do you think he's going to feature?
Who knows? I'm waiting for a worse than first feared line from the club. I just don't. Honestly, I just don't know.
In terms of midfield, like, are we going to see a similar midfield?
Please, God, no.
Because Bergvall's the only one that can come in and change that,
Unless he actually does something different and puts Kudus in the 10, which he did against Everton.
Yeah.
Away. Does he take a lot from... Does Thomas Frank go away from this today or yesterday and sit down and say, I can't play this, I need to change something, I need to do something? Whether he does, whether he doesn't, who knows?
Is that what you want to see? You want to see Gray, Bentancur pivot with Kudus in the 10?
Yeah, let's face it, it's going to be Bentancur over Paulina, isn't it? So, you'd imagine it'd be Gray, yeah. Joe, that is what I'd want to see.
I think he's going to keep Kudus on the right, you know. I think he's going to keep Kudus on, and if he does keep Kudus on the right, then unless Bergvall makes a miraculous recovery, then we have to play those three midfielders.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is your party, so you put it as you want. But as we say, I would want to see Kudus in the 10, but this is a predicted lineup of what we're going to do, and I think you're right.
Because it's Javi Simmons' last game of suspension.
Yep.
He'd be vital for us in this game. We need him because, the way Sunderland's set up and how defensively sound and resolute they are.
Would have been vital yesterday.
I think, I
It's
can't.
the same, isn't it?
I can't see anything but the same, to be honest, as a midfield, and it's going to be tragic. It's going to be tragic for us. But what else can we do?
The thing you can do is put Kudus at the 10, but like I said, I just can't see him doing it.
No,
unfortunately.
If we had Brennan Johnson, I could potentially see him doing it because Brennan's a right winger. We don't have any natural right wingers. I know Odebear can play there, but he's never played him there.
Seeing that we're playing on Sunday, technically, I'm just saying technically, not that it's going to happen. We have until 12:30 tomorrow to sign a player for him to be eligible, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
Because it would have been 12:30 or 12 o'clock today to be registered. So, not saying that I don't think there is going to be a signing or whatever, not at all, but that would set the tongues wagging, wouldn't it? If something all of a sudden came out the bag. But I'd like to see Kudus in the 10, but I think he's going the same midfield.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So we're going Bentancur. So Bentancur there. We'll go Paulinia and Archie Gray in a three-man midfield, which does not inspire anyone. In terms of the attacking lineup, we'll go Mohamed Kudus on the right. I think that's pretty much set in stone.
Yep.
Now for the other two positions, what are you feeling?
Mate, how depressing is this? How depressing is this? I don't. Do you know? Does he? I can't see him starting Odebear because of those comments he's made about home and games, and then he came on yesterday to make an impression. He didn't really do it, did he?
Yeah.
So,
my opinion, it's going to be Richie and Moani on the left. That's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't change it with Kudus at the 10, the only other way he could change it is telling the left and Moani up top to say, right, this is something different. But again, he's probably going to end up doing the same bloody thing.
Yeah, I think he goes Moani on the left like that, and Richarlison up top. And unfortunately, nothing in that team excites me, unfortunately. That's where we're at right now.
Yep.
So this is the predicted lineup that we're going for. Vicario in goal, Porro right back, Jed Spence left back, Kuti Romero, Mickey van der Ven in the centre-back positions, Paulinia, Bentancur and Archie Gray in the midfield, Kudus on the right, Moani on the left, Richarlison up top. So basically what we're saying is that the only change from yesterday is Moani for Odebear.
I think the question is, for the watch along on Sunday, do we bring our pillows and a sleeping bag?
We might as well have to. We might have to.
Oh, dear.
And, off the back of that predicted lineup, what's the score prediction if we play that lineup?
I like I said to you when we did on the ball stuff, I'm going down the line of predicting, do we actually play football? Or whatever yesterday was. I said to you when we did that, I'm going 1-1.
1-1?
Yep.
I can't really see us scoring with this lineup. I can't. Same as yesterday. I'm going 0-0. I'm going 0-0 again. I can see us being defensively sound and resolute. I can't see us scoring.
And then we'll celebrate it.
Yeah. 3 clean sheets in a row, people.
Exactly.
Come on.
Lap of honour. Start playing that song again. The song that we always play at the end.
Yeah.
Free from desire.
God, but let us know what your score predictions and predicted lineups are in the comments section below. But that is what we envisage Frank doing. That is what we envisage Frank doing. If he was to make a change, obviously he could put Odebear on the right and Kudus in the 10, or he could put even Odebear in the 10.
Could have Bergvall. Could.
Yeah. Look, I think if we have Bergvall, that'll make it a little bit better. If Bergvall is fit, I would like to see him drop a Paulinho and put Gray and Bentancur in the pivot and then Bergbow in the 10, I guess.
Yeah, but do you know what? You look at it, I agree that he will pick Bentancur, but with someone like a Xhaka, do you want a Paulinho there with him? So would it be a Paulinho over a Bentancur thing? Because you can't play the two of them together. If Bergbow's fit, you play him.
Yeah.
But it's whether it would be Bentancur or Paulinho. And again, with Xhaka and his strength and everything like that, maybe Paulinho is better suited for this game. But we'll see.
We will see indeed. But let's get into the match preview then, because we do face a Sunderland team that haven't lost in 4 games. They've drawn their last 3, one before that against Newcastle, obviously in a massive northeast derby. Yep. We saw last night they also drew 0-0, but they drew against Man City. We drew against Brentford. Look, they're a very resolute side. They don't concede many goals. They've conceded, I'm looking here, 1 goal in their last 4 games. The manager has just got them set up so well. They did so well in the transfer market as well. How many times have you seen a team come up from the Championship and just struggle, as you've seen Burnley do right now? You know, it's such a hard step up to make, and they've just seamlessly done it. They've brought in so many players. They've all kind of gelled together. Xhaka, who you mentioned earlier,
Yep.
What an unbelievable impact he's had in the Sunderland team. The defensive players as well, all of them have just fit in like a glove, really, and it's a testament to the way that the manager and the board have worked in tandem together and really just gelled everything together. The only team that we haven't faced so far this season, I think going forward offensively, they are a team that you can stop. They aren't the best team, but what they do bring you is sheer physicality, work rate, ethic, desire, and you know that's what you want from a team coming up from the Championship. They're currently sitting 7th in the Premier League table right now. They do have quite a lot of players out for the AFCON. I think it's like 5 or 6 players they've got at the AFCON. But unlike Manchester United, that make the excuses if the players going to the AFCON, we're not strong enough. Like Tottenham, we've got players injured right now. We're not strong enough right now. Thomas Frank says, we've got players out injured. You just wait till we get our players back. It doesn't matter to them. They just say, you know what? We're just going to work harder and we're going to still put in those performances for you guys. So I am worried coming up against the Sunderland team this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think Sunderland have been a breath of fresh air. I love it when teams that have been outside the Premier League for a long, long time, or even play teams like Blackpool or ever come up for the very first time, they give it all they've got. As we were saying earlier on the show, I think Xhaka, pound for pound, has been one of the best signings of the transfer window for what he has brought to Sunderland, for that stability, that experience, that grit and determination. And you just said that they have conceded 1 goal in 4 games. They've kept Haaland quiet. Their defence must absolutely be shitting themselves at our front line, mustn't they? They must be going, oh my God, fear.
They've only lost 2 games since mid-October.
Like I said, they have been a breath of fresh air. They've come in, and let's not forget that Sunderland is a massive, massive football club. And their fans are as passionate as they come. And they have come into this, and you probably thought they were going to be one of the ones. You probably thought that the 3 going up with the 3 going back down again, like it always has been.
Yeah, when I looked at Sunderland, I thought, it's way too many changes here. Way too many.
They've come in, and honestly, they have just done incredibly well. The manager who's come in with no experience in Premier League has taken to it like a duck to water in the first half of the season. They play... Do you know what they play? When we were talking about earlier, when we were doing the review of Brentford, I said there was no desire from the players. There's no fight. There's no. Sunderland show that and then some.
Yeah.
They if you want to fight, they'll fight. If they want to, they will give you everything, and they will be a threat at White Hart Lane. They will be, and I will keep calling it White Hart Lane. They will be a threat.
2 old Spurs boys, academy products coming back this weekend. Dennis Serkin, who obviously. We were linked very heavily to in the summer. He was injured at the first part of the season and hasn't been in the squad for a while. But last 2 games, he's played 90 minutes in both games, and apparently he had a very good game last night against Manchester City, which is very impressive to him. Obviously, he was very highly thought of in the Spurs academy, and we thought he was going to go on and make his name at Tottenham. Obviously, it wasn't to be, and he's done a very good job at Sunderland, but what his biggest issue has always been staying fit, and I think that's followed him around his whole career, albeit he's only 23 years of age, so still got a long career ahead of him, but he's a Premier League player now for Sunderland and doing very well, and we're light on the homegrown players, aren't we?
Yep.
On the club-trained players. We're light at left-back. Maybe we should have brought him in.
The Youth Academy doing what it does for us.
His contract is it up at the end of the season? Is it someone you'd consider if he carries on in this vein of form?
That's why we didn't go for him this summer. We're getting for free next summer.
Yeah.
Look, you'd want Spurs to do better, wouldn't you? In all honesty, you'd want Spurs to do better than bring back Dennis Serkin. But if he carries on playing well, then it does help with the homegrown and everything like that. You've also got, who's the other one? Romain Mundle.
Yeah. Romain Mundle he's been injured for a lot of this season, but now he's starting to get some minutes off the bench. Last night had 20 minutes. A couple of weeks ago against Brighton got half an hour. Don't think he had a goal contribution or anything like that, but he's another one that was, really highly thought
Very
of.
much so.
Yeah.
And a tricky winger, which we're lacking.
Yeah. He went to Liège after
Belgium,
Spurs.
yeah.
He went to Belgium. Didn't really pull up too many trees there, but Sunderland gambled on him in the Championship, and now he's a Premier League player.
Yep. It's why, like I said, this just goes back to show about what we're doing with this youth academy and players that are going, whether they're too quick, not getting an opportunity, whatever it may be. You'd expect Dennis Serkin to start, wouldn't you? You'd expect Mundle to come off the bench like they've done. And we'll see what Serkin is made of. Like you said yesterday when we're doing, is it an audition for Sade?
Could be an audition for Serkin.
Yeah. To come home.
Yeah, it will be interesting what he would prefer to do. Like if Sunderland do offer him that new contract, and Spurs do come in.
Well, also, you look at it. We have the only negative about, or major negative about bringing him back is, we want a left-sided left back that we can rely on because Destiny can't stay fit. And what will we likely do? Bring in a left back that can't keep fit. And hope that their injuries replace each other.
Yeah. With the players that we have available, though, can you see a possibility? Because we saw it a few weeks ago when Brentford came to Tottenham. We went at them, but we had a Javi then, and Javi was obviously very central to that win and that performance. We don't have a Javi. We don't have a recognised 10. We don't have a recognised creator in the midfield. So how are we going to go about our business and actually break down this Sunderland team? Because even if we had Javi, as Man City proved yesterday, it's going to be hard to score against this Sunderland team with our best 11 out there.
Mate, you look at it where you go back to the Brentford home game. We also had a Pedro Porro picking balls for fun.
Yeah.
And being able to pick his passes and heavily influential in that game. We also had a Jed Spence terrorising that left wing, literally just bombing forward. Will they do that? Will Pedro Porro find his passing? Sunderland will be all over our play. They will sniff danger, won't they? And you look at that team without Xavi, your two players that you'd expect creativity from, or glimpses that could provide any kind of magic or defence splitting passes, it's Kudus and Porro.
Yeah.
And if them two don't turn up, then the creativity is obsolete, isn't it?
We need to have Kudus to have one of those games where he just is unplayable. To get anything from this game, in my opinion, or to take the win in this game, should I say. Because he's going to be our only outlet. I can't see much coming down the left-hand side with Spence and probably will be Muani. I think if it is Odebear, I feel like he could just be physically not up to it because Sunderland are just a highly physical side, probably one of the most physical in the Premier League. So I see Odebear, if he was to start maybe struggling a little bit in this game. So on the right-hand side, we know Kudus has the physicality. We know he has the quality. Just doesn't show it maybe week in, week out. But, he's played a lot of minutes. So he's going to be the X factor for us if we can win the game, isn't he?
He is. And like I said, we need these players to stand up. There's going to be, going into this game, the atmosphere is going to be tense, isn't it? Going into the game. They need to put in a performance in. Kudus needs to be ready to, like you said, have one of those games where he will just try anything, try everything, and try and get past his man and create. But I go back to what you said beforehand about Sunderland being a very physical team, which they are. And they showed that in the North East Derby, didn't they? They were really up for it, like they would be for that sort of game. But this is where, if it is a physical game, the Spurs players we got there turn up and say, right, you want a physical battle, we'll give it to you, or when the going gets tough, do the weak go hiding?
The sad thing about it is that Sunderland are probably coming into this game being like, you know what, we can have this lot. You know what I mean? That's the worrying thing about it, when you've got a team like Sunderland who've just come out from the Championship and have that kind of thinking that, you know what, instead of them being, all right, we're up against it today, we can have this lot.
Mate, this isn't a new thing. This is with Leicester, with Ange, with
Ipswich,
with Ange, with
Burnley, I think.
Burnley with Conte.
Before, yeah.
This is a thing. This isn't a Thomas Frank thing. This is a Spurs manager thing and Spurs players thing, where we can be good against the good teams and absolutely catastrophically bad against the weaker teams. So I just, like I said, I'm at a loss to even know what to say, what to think, how we're going to go at this. Where you normally go into this and say, right, if Spurs focus there, they could get something out of it. I can't say anything.
In terms of the league position, if we win, I mean, it could be really good for us, to be honest. You know, we could go up to Sunderland. We're 3 points behind Sunderland right now. So, you know, we can't lose this game. We really can't. We can't go 6 points behind Sunderland, surely. They're in 7th spot, so that's the highest we can go. The lowest we can go is on par with Bournemouth, and they're 15th. So, I mean, that just shows you how tight the league table is, right? It's mad, isn't it? Like, as much as we've said, like, you know, we're having such a poor season, it is salvageable, isn't it? Because it's just so tight and everyone is just so inconsistent. That's why it's so important for us to pick up these points in this month when we've got these winnable games. You know, these Sunderlands, your West Hams, your Burnleys. You've got teams that we really should be beating with the quality that we have in the squad, even though, you know, a lot of you say, you know, we've got no quality in the squad. We've got enough quality to win these kind of games. We've shown it. We've already gone to West Ham and won 3-0 this season. So we've already beaten Burnley this season. You know, we've beaten most of these teams already this season. So we've got enough in us to beat these kind of teams. And when you see the fixtures coming up in February, you can't see many points over those games the way we're playing. That's why it's so important to pick up the points now.
Yep. It is, like I said, February is going to be an absolute bitch. Then you could have FA Cup games if we're still in it. Champions League qualifiers, if we need to go through it, we don't make it in the top 8. Like you said, right now it's like 2 games a week all the time, isn't it? And this month we need to have an impact. We need to have, we really need to put some points on the board. Because like I said, it is salvageable. It is salvageable. This season right now, not where we are, I mean, it's reminding me of the Leicester season when they won the league, but no one around them wanted to go for anything, did they? Every time someone made an error, the other teams around them made an error, and it was just a season that was so unpredictably ridiculous. This is salvageable. Only we can ruin it.
Yeah,
We'll
and
be
only
our
we
worst
can
enemies.
only we can ruin it, and only we can fix it.
Yeah.
This is all on us. Like, so I was saying, forget about whatever other clubs are doing right now. If we focus on ourselves and we get a few wins behind us, then we can do it. But I just got no hope that we can do it. That's the problem. Like, I think maybe we can pick up a few points. I can't see us beating Sunderland, but the games after that, like, it will be criminal not to win these games. Like Bournemouth away, fine. It's a hard game, even though they're on a hard run. Then we got the FA Cup coming up. We all know what's going to happen in that game.
We're going to win.
Yeah, right.
I'm praying to God.
Then we got the double header of West Ham at home and Burnley away. That has to be 6 points.
That has to be.
That has to be 6
There's
points.
no excuses for it not to be. Absolutely none.
So those 2 games is I'm looking at being like, if we don't get 6 points in that, then like seriously, what are we doing here? And we have to pick up some points in the next 2 games as well. Like Bournemouth are on a terrible run. Sunderland, you know, that's probably the hardest game of the lot. But
Bournemouth way we lost last season, didn't we? 1-0.
we lost, yeah. And we should have got battered. Do you not remember that?
I came on and went nuts on the furniture.
Yeah, we got battered that game. It was lucky just to be 1-0. But yeah, look, it's a very hard task. Just looking at the outlook of Tottenham Hotspur right now. There is one guy in the comments that wants me and you to have a domestic.
Okay, who's that?
James, he's saying, Ben, your best pal Brian says we have no quality, so face him. You say we've got no quality?
No, you look at that. Listen, I've given Frank a ton of I wouldn't say abuse, but like where I'm very concerned right now. But the team should be doing better. But honestly, that we are so weak. This is years and years and years and years of bad recruitment. Years and years and years and years of bad getting the wrong players in for the wrong manager and profiles and whatever. And now we're having to live with the consequences. Don't get me wrong, Kudus is there, quality, but he's not showing it right now. Simmons suspended, will be quality, should be showing it. Obviously no Maddison, no Kulusevski for obvious reasons. We've gone from having people like Ginolas, Sons, Waddles, Andertons and wingers, and we're now looking at Tells, Odebears, Mawani. We're talking about Mawani. Mawani's come in, can't score a goal for love nor money. Yes, he's got 2 in the Champions League. Yes, he should be given better quality, but it's not working here.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to with Frank and the tactics, which is a very, very fair comment, and especially after yesterday, where he has to take a long hard look at himself and look and say, right, this ain't going to happen, we ain't going to do this. But I don't think this squad is as good as we think it is.
I don't think anyone thinks it's an unbelievable squad. People just think it should be doing better than what it's doing right now. People think that it's not as bad from an attacking standpoint than being on par with Burnley and Wolves.
Look, I'm not saying it's on par with them, but there is no killer instinct. There is no cutting edge. Kudus, yes, but we've seen what Kudus has been like. Look, Kudus potentially, yes, absolutely. And if he's on fire and he's having a good day, he's a nightmare for the opposition.
Put it this way: you're talking about those players that you're talking about, the Odebears, the Tells,
Yep.
the Moanis, and these kind of guys that are struggling for us right now. They start for Wolves, they start for Leeds, they start for Burnley, they start. Let's go through the league. You know, in terms of the bottom of the league, they start for West Ham, potentially Forest.
Well, with West Ham, if you're talking Odebear and Tell, people like that. If Jarrod Bowen's on one wing, which is they're not getting above that, who's the other wing? Somerville at the moment, who's doing reasonably well.
Not doing much, Somerville.
Okay, but they both wouldn't get in.
No, Jarrod Bowen for sure, but like
Exactly.
he even starts up front some games. Sometimes they
For
play.
us, he'd start anywhere for us.
Sometimes they play Lucas Paqueta out of position on the left-hand side because they don't believe in
Yep.
Somerville. So if they had one of them, I imagine Paqueta would go more inside and one of them will start on the left-hand side.
Okay.
So I'm saying they've got players. They've got Callum Wilson up front, who's not exactly doing much. Like Mawani, Richarlison, one of them would start up front for them, for sure. You didn't take Callum Wilson at Spurs.
A few seasons ago, I would have. Not
now, though.
Not now. No, not now. But you look at it, he's getting goals for West Ham.
Is he though? How many has he scored?
He's got more than Mawani.
How many has he scored?
He scored a few in the Premier League, I believe.
He scored 4 in the Premier League.
Okay, that's 4 more than Mawani.
Yeah, but Richarlison is the one that's scoring the goals for us.
Okay. But when Richarlison isn't having a good day, and you take him off.
But I'm telling you,
I'm not saying Callum Wilson I would have over Mawani. I'm not saying that, but we've got players there, and they're not. They have the quality. They're just not doing it. Mm-hmm. And this has gone from years and years and years of papering over cracks, not buying the red.
But that's what I mean. It all comes down to the tactics, though.
It also comes back down to the managers beforehand, and owners beforehand, by not replacing valuable players.
Yeah, that we don't disagree with. I'm not saying that we're at the quality where we want to be. We're nowhere near the quality where we want to be, but we've got enough quality to show better than the teams I just mentioned, and we're not doing so. That's the problem here.
No, I don't dispute that. I'm just saying I don't think this squad is as good as we think it is.
But where do we think it is? Where do people think it is?
You speak to Spurs fans and you see it in the chats, you see it on social media. I don't think, if you were to say Spurs fans right now, where do you think we should be? It will be all over the place. There won't be one that stands out head and shoulders above it. It'll be a clear indication.
I think we've got a good enough squad to finish in the top half for sure.
Top half, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Top half, absolutely.
Potentially even top 7.
Top half, absolutely. That I've got no bones about.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that where we are, we need some attacking guile. We need a midfielder that can pass the football, a ball-playing central midfielder. We don't have those. We're saying like we're not creative for the quality. The quality, like we're saying, Simmons, Kudus, even let's put Mawani in there. Doesn't matter if you can't get the service to him and the midfield can't get the ball to him and we can't dictate the play. It's all well and good.
Yeah, but it's all down to tactics, in my opinion. All down to tactics. There is no reason why this team that we have now are creating the same amount or less than some of the teams that I mentioned down at the bottom of the league. It's just not on. And for me, it all comes down and back to the manager. All of it.
Like I said, again, we created eight chances yesterday, 1 on target.
Mm-hmm.
That, whereas style of play, I grant you right with the take, but when you create 8 and you're only having 1 on target, that's also a quality issue. You need to be more ruthless. So it's 6 and 1.
But he needs to be putting them in a position where they can have more than 8 shots in a game.
You said, the Richarlison cross.
That was poor. That was one moment that was poor, 100%. And we know, like, Richarlison on his day can put it in the back of the net. On another day, the ball will just bounce off him and he'll spend 80 minutes on the floor. Like,
so that's what I'm saying, what we were going back to. We've had players in our recent history and going back years and years and years where you would always say there is one player that if they have one moment, 1 second, they will dig us out of problems. They will get us out of trouble. And there's no one at the moment.
Yeah.
There's no one. As good as Kudus can be.
The tactics should be able... What tactics are there? They should be able to help us in situations.
Yeah, like I said,
and they're not helping us in any situation because the tactics are absolutely shambolic that we're playing week in, week out. And if we actually had a bit of tactics that can spur games in our favour and turn games in our favour, then you might be seeing a few more shots on target and the XG up a little bit and Spurs being able to create and actually Spurs fans enjoying what they're seeing right now. But we're not, because the tactics are non-existent. They're set up for us not to fail, but we're failing every week.
So like I said, this is what we said at the beginning of this stream, and I agree with that. I really want to see us go, like we said, and like Stel said yesterday, and I said a few weeks ago, I want to see us play 3 at the back and have Porro and Spence flying up there, because I think they can be a lot more creative for us and give us that thing that we're missing, but we're not doing it.
I don't know what the answer is, man. It's just absolute sad state of affairs at Tottenham Hotspur. But look, we went off on a bit of a tangent, but that is your match preview for the Sunderland game. Me and Brian will be back in on the watch along on Sunday, so tune into that.
Yep.
What time's kick-off on Sunday? 3 o'clock,
PM.
innit? Yeah, so...
At least we get home at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, absolutely. So come and tune in. We'll be going live at 2:45. Sim is the one that... Sim will be back and he will be in that stadium. So pray for him. You got a couple of super chats just before we sign off. One from 7 saying, Madders didn't just post that pic of him and Anne, she posted all the pics from the day. Fair enough. Tom Edgell says, we are a painful team to watch. Stayed up till the early hours of the morning to watch that rubbish. Yeah, well, sorry for you, mate, and the rest of the overseas Spurs fans. Malware says, Daigle, you are a top man, but sorry, watching Frank's style of play is absolutely horrifying. I'd rather watch a 4-hour documentary on the history of beige paint.
There you go, Malware's a top guy. Listen, like I said, people can disagree, and like I said, yesterday was unacceptable. Some of the football has been unacceptable, but I'm giving it until the end of the season, and hopefully some players will come in and it will change. Not saying it will. I hope it will. I think it will. And we go from there. Like I said, people like Malware and everyone that can speak respectively and not get... I've got no problem with it. I've got absolutely no drama when people disagree with me. In fact, at the moment, they're absolutely right and I'm wrong. But I'm going to give it a chance.
And last but not least, we have got a brand new member. And he goes by the name of Carl Patrick Vineyard, Real Madrid champions.
What's he called?
Carl Patrick Vineyard, Real Madrid champions.
Oh dear.
And he sends in a super chat saying, big up Brian and Ben, happy new year, come on you Spurs. Thank you Brennan Johnson for that amazing night in Bilbao, good luck at Crystal Palace. What a lovely message, KPV. And on that note, I think we will be signing off. Hope everyone has a good weekend doing whatever you love doing, and on Sunday we'll have to do things that we don't love doing, and that is watching Tottenham right now. And we'll see you there, people. We're all in it together. That's the main thing. And yeah, we'll see you all later, people. See you on Sunday. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.